I've made about 300 videos to get to 2,000 subscribers. This is long-form video number 126. When I started this, I gave myself 2 years. 2 years where I wasn't allowed to question it. I'd post 1 video a week and just see what happens. That was 19 months ago, so I'm not even done yet. I also set the goal to get 1,000 subscribers in year 1, and I got there in about 6.5 months. And everyone tells you the first 1,000 subscribers, they are the hardest, and then it goes exponential. But the second 1,000 took me 12 months to get. And that is not just a YouTube thing. By 25, you're supposed to have the thing, and by 30, you've got the money and the house and whatever else. I don't know who actually said that, it's just been repeated so many times. And for me, it actually gave me some hope. It made me take action. But here's the part I didn't see coming. It worked. Nearly all of it worked. It just took so much longer than I thought it would for most of it. And I was completely convinced it wasn't working at all at the time. I think I finally know why it has to take that long. Nobody actually verified that normal timeline. It just got repeated until it sounded like that was the truth. You can go on the internet and look up visible numbers such as salary, how many partners people have on average, when people get married on average, when people get kids on average, but they are constantly changing. So the numbers we have are outdated. It literally takes millionaires and people living in poverty. And I know, of course, there's filters where you can look up, let's say, people between 25 and 35 in the UK, how much do they make? But there are still some massive outliers in there because today there's so many different paths we can take. Some people, they become social media influencers and they make a buttload of money. And then there's even some people like doctors who don't make as much as those guys. Then there's just a lot of hidden information within those numbers. So comparing yourself to the standard/default timeline is just not very helpful these days. So what you might be doing is you're measuring against the wrong thing. There's a mechanic in Pokemon where a Pokemon evolves based on how much it likes you, the friendship mechanic. It's not something you can see, there's no bar, no number, no menu. There might be a single NPC in the game that you can talk to, and they will tell you whether or not your Pokemon likes you. But if you have an Eevee and you battle with it, you walk around with it, you keep it from fainting, and then one day it evolves into an Espeon, and you'd have no idea how close you actually were. And my honest take on this is with this YouTube channel, I truly have no idea how the future will look, which is a bit scary to be honest, because I am putting in a lot of time and effort into making these videos. It serves different purposes. It serves as my journal to document my life and the lessons I'm learning to help my younger self. But it's also something that I'm aiming to monetize. And right now it's still a fairly small channel with 2,000 subscribers, but even more so, the path to get here is just not the path I was told. The video that got me to my first 1,000, it got 6,570 views. It's been 4 or 5 videos since I'd had a video surpass that 6,000 views mark. A lot of my recent stuff does 1 to 2k views, and in my opinion, it's some of the best work I've made. So the visible views number does not necessarily track the thing that's working. And I've been at this for 19 months. So there might suddenly be a video that I post that blows up again, that gets 50,000 views and gets me another 1,000 subscribers. It's really hard to tell. But all I know at this point is if I keep at it, I'm gonna keep growing. But the timeline itself is almost impossible to predict, because this one video that you're watching right now, maybe it's gonna be a banger. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not gonna be shown to the right audience on YouTube. And maybe it's gonna flop. Maybe the thumbnail wasn't exactly what landed with the audience, so it's also gonna flop. Or maybe people just love the intro, so it's gonna get pushed out to more people. There's so many variables that's really difficult to predict. So many invisible variables like the friendship stat in Pokemon. And that's what makes it really difficult, because it isn't tangible. I can't just go back and tell an 18-year-old that if they work on their social skills and dating for the next 4 years, they master that, then they can quickly make an online business that takes a couple of years, and then at 25, they got the dream life. That's not how the world works. And I think there's really 2 ways people they lose here. The first way is that they quit right before the evolution. If you're training up an Eevee and you think it takes too long, you might just decide, I now have a level 50 Eevee and it's still not an Espeon. And it should have learned some moves that I have to go to the move for learner to learn now. Now it's kind of too late. Now I'm just gonna quit it, even though it was gonna evolve at level 51. That's the first way people they lose here. The second way is that they completely reset everything. They start a new save file with a new idea, a new YouTube channel, a new plan, and it feels like you're progressing because now the new visible number is fresh and you're just ready to go at it with full force. But the thing is, every restart puts the hidden counter back to 0. And this is what I did with Newsphere. I have had run a couple of channels before, one of which had 560 subscribers, I believe. And I tried restarting that channel as well, like after longer breaks. And to be honest, if I had just gone back in time to when I was 15 and started the first channel, if I had posted to that channel consistently for 15 years at this point, I would have more than 2,000 subscribers. I'm very sure about that. But I decided to put the counter back to 0 and start Neosphere, which, of course, in hindsight, I'm happy that I have Neosphere today, and I'm really grateful for those 2,000 subscribers. I'm just saying, I decided to start a new save file back then, and I also quit the old channels, maybe just before they were gonna take off. I will never know that because the counter is invisible, and that counter does not care how motivated you were on day 1. It only counts the time you didn't reset. And then there's also a few caveats to this, because I don't know if you know, but in Pokemon, at least in Pokemon Emerald, you can buy these bitter items, bitter healing items that are things like the energy powder, the energy root. Those, they actually lower happiness. And there will be things in your real life that are actually feeding your goal the wrong input. It might be that you decided to build up a good physique, but you hear the advice online that it's just calories in, calories out, bro. That it doesn't matter what you eat. But if your diet consists of pizza and ice cream and you're convinced that you're on track just because you're hitting the right calories, let me tell you, you're not gonna have a good time. So you might actually be feeding the wrong input, even though you are being consistent and you think you're progressing. Doing the wrong thing for 6 years, even though you're putting in the work, it doesn't make you progress. You can easily grind for hours and put in every point in the wrong stat. And the test here to figure this out for yourself is, am I just staying busy and telling myself I'm working on the thing? Or am I actually doing the thing that's actually moving the needle? Like the 20% of inputs that's gonna give me 80% of the results, is that what I'm putting my time into? For YouTube, it's recording videos. So if you're overanalyzing every single analytic, and don't get me wrong, analytics are really important to understand your growth. But if it means you're posting once every 2 or 3 weeks instead of posting every week, then you're most likely better off just posting more often. Another thing I want to mention here is that there are levels to this. And this is something I have to tell myself because I am currently in a good place. 2,000 subscribers is not a ton, but I have a small community that watch my videos and I love making the videos. I live in a nice place, I have a girlfriend, I build up a good physique, all of that stuff. But there are definitely levels to this. I know there's still lots of things to improve in our relationship. I know I can get even better in terms of my physique and my content creation skills, my communication skills. I can make more friends that are potentially even better for me here in Copenhagen. There's like so many avenues and things I can explore where I'm nowhere near the end at this point. There's so much more stuff to do, and that's a really beautiful thing about all of this. Even if I get the Espeon, the friendship evolution, that's just the first step. Now I have to make that Espeon compete and actually prove its worth. So what I want you to do to actually get the most out of this video is I want you to figure out what's the single most important input that you can do in your life right now that actually moves that hidden counter. And then I want you to plan out how you can actually start doing that today. Ideally, you do something with that today. If you want to become a YouTuber, you literally go ahead and record a video today. Otherwise, this video is just a waste of time if you're just gonna twiddle your thumbs and not do it. And I'm gonna warn you here again, do not start a new save file. Do not reset everything, unless you have a really, really good reason to do it. Some things just need a lot of time. Honestly, if you want to start a YouTube channel, you have to give it 2 years. If you give it less than 2 years, you don't respect the game of YouTube. It just takes very long for many people, and it takes a lot of iteration, a lot of trial and error. And for a lot of other things, that's the same case. If you go to the gym, I would give it at least 2 years to build a good physique. You get results quickly, yes, in the beginning, but to truly see the results, it takes a long time. And I want to be very upfront about that, because a lot of people will be like, oh, you can do this in 6 weeks. No, you can't. It's gonna take a while. I just want to be honest about that, because a lot of people are not honest about how long it actually takes to make progress in different areas of life. You don't just magically land a girlfriend in a couple of weeks. It takes a long time for many to actually find the right person or even be comfortable going on dates. So I'd love to hear from you now, the viewer. What's the thing you've been doing for ages that hasn't shown up in any number yet? Say what it is and how long you've been at it. And if you dare to do it as well, name the one input that you just found from the exercise. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope to see you in the next video.